Hey there, boys and ghouls. Make sure to rate and review this episode on iTunes. It will make the master happy. Yes, yes.
Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Hollow Weekly. We're your host, Nick Rollins, here with
Georgie Lee.
And today, actually, just a few hours ago, we just got out of seeing Get Out. And we're about to hit live on Facebook. Do the first part of the show live. And second half, we'll talk about everything spoilers on. But we'll end the live. That way we don't ruin the film for people seeing it this weekend. Even though you can argue spoilers don't ruin the film, as Alex would say, but there's people out there who do enjoy it, so we will not spoil it. So you ready to go live?
Ready.
Okay, cool. And we're live. 2, 1. There we go.
There we go.
Now we're live.
Hey.
Hollow Weekly Live. We're actually recording this first part of this episode live. We just got out of seeing Get Out. We got out to see Get Out.
We did.
I'm sure everyone's going to be
doing that. Yep.
Saying that. Sorry. So we're going to do a little bit different. We're going to do the first part of the podcast live, no spoilers. Then we're going to end the live and do the second part and talk about all the crazy shit that happens in the film, and
there is some crazy shit there
till the credits roll.
Right. We're good. Okay, so, it's working.
Audio sounds good.
Yep.
All right, put on those cans so you can monitor.
Let's do this.
Okay, so where to begin with? Yeah, first of all, the one thing I wanted to throw out there first was when a film gets like really good reviews, like right now it's like has like 120 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and it's like 100%. I hate to overhype something for people, because then they go out and they see it and they're like, oh well, that wasn't as good as what you had said. So I don't want to overhype the film saying it's going to be the best film of your life. But
I'll handle the overhyping.
But holy shit, was it good?
It was amazing.
It was pretty good.
I'm emailing Rotten Tomatoes as we speak to install 110% rating. They need to make some room for something like this.
What did you think? So non-spoiler review.
Non-spoiler review. Okay,
non-spoilers.
So here's the thing. The what everyone is going to talk about this movie is they're going to talk about the impeccable writing.
Yep.
How surprisingly funny it is, and all the great directorial decisions. They're going to talk about all that stuff, but they're going to be talking about plot, some acting, and then like moments, the scenes, right?
Yeah.
But do not let it go by. You're gonna have to watch this a couple times, because there are so many amazing style elements.
I'll give you a little bit more headroom
going on in this movie. The opening shot looks like freaking Halloween. Right?
Yeah,
I mean literally so good, like modern Halloween shot. Right? It's stylized like a Halloween.
It's funny
shot.
You say that, because when we were watching it, I was like, I really can't wait for the Halloween. It's a remake, I guess. Halloween reimagining.
Yep.
I thought the same thing during that. This film made me excited for that, because it's Blumhouse too, right?
Yes.
Doing that.
Yes. Right.
Damn.
Yep. they're on a roll.
Yeah, they're gonna be on a roll.
So and then, I know you're gonna talk about the music a lot, but just the credits as they roll the song and what the credits are showing you, the opening credits, there's two moments. One is like a scroll across the woods.
Yeah. And
then the second is like weirdo pictures on a wall. Mm-hmm. And the way it's presented with the song is absolutely perfect. It's literally perfect. If you change anything, it would be a mistake, right?
Yeah.
So there's just really, really mad style in this movie, and you know it from the jump.
Yeah, even the way, even the color of the text or like that light blue. I was like, even a little touch like that, it just gave it so much like I don't know, style.
Right. Do we want to do the beginning plot setup, or we assume that?
I'm assuming that half the people who follow these horror stuff are probably going to check it out this weekend or next weekend maybe.
Right, because the setup is really good because it's creepy, but not like obvious creepy.
Yeah,
right? The beginning is creepy,
it's
but
subtle.
then you're following along with this couple, and there are just moments where things are off, but you don't know why, right?
Yeah,
and you're gonna know why later, but like I can't wait to rewatch it actually because
it's definitely one of those like once it like. The second time through, you're going to pick up on every single thing that all the characters say throughout the film that is questionable the first time.
Yep.
But then the second time, you'll be able to connect the dots a lot quicker.
Yep.
The one thing I wanted to mention up was the pacing of the film. A lot of horror films are like, I don't know, you it's super obvious, like your first act, second act, and like going into the third. And you still get that with this movie, but like the way they blend together,
totally.
Like the way they set up, like the first scene when shit starts to get really creepy, like the timing that hit in the film, like just felt right, and it didn't feel rushed by any means either. Like it was just the hits.
Totally.
Were perfect, and the scares too. They like there's some jump scares in there, but it's not like it's kind of a weird thing because like so far this year, there's been like to me, there's been like 4 horror films that came out.
Yes.
There's been Rings, which sucked.
Yes.
There's been The Bye Bye Man, that sucked.
Yes.
But then we have this, and we have Split.
Yep.
And
it's a split, 2 and 2.
It's a split, 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
Get out of here. It's a split.
Well done. Too good, too bad.
Too good, too bad. But a lot of these films lately have like really shit jump scares in it.
Yes.
And we had Good Bad Flicks on. He mentioned like shitty jump scares and all that other stuff.
Yep.
This film does jump scares right the same way people quote or mention like Halloween doing jump scares right. Mm-hmm. To me,
no,
like
they totally
they
agree.
didn't feel like.
Well, so we see this in the theater. It's like not that full, right?
Yeah, because we went at like 3:00 in the afternoon.
It's
like
afternoon.
Everyone's at work.
Right. So we're watching it. There's some people in there, right? Mm-hmm. The first jump scare. How far into the movie do you think it is?
That's probably like I want to say 25 minutes in.
Felt like, right? The people behind us were terrified.
Yeah, some lady jumped and it made me jump. I mean, I was gonna jump regardless because I'm a scaredy cat, but like she really, really kicked it up a notch.
It was really, I mean, it was effective, and it wasn't there to be a jump scare. It made sense with what was happening on the screen at the moment, and what would be happening, as the main character starts to figure some things out. Mm-hmm. There's no way this kind of jump scare wouldn't be happening to him, right? So it was organic. It was really amazing.
It was good.
Yep.
The other thing, like everything about the film was pretty solid. Like even like the cinematography in it too. Like there's a few scenes where the main character's talking to one of the housekeepers, and like his shot is like pretty normal, like a nicely composed shot, but hers, they're like way up in her business.
Yep.
And it just makes you completely unfucking comfortable.
Yep.
The whole time.
And you notice that they were doing that famous, Anthony Hopkins was famous for saying that when he was doing research for playing Hannibal Lecter, he went to actual asylums and studied crazy people. And he said the first thing he noticed about crazy people is they don't blink. And
oh, that's right.
She's not. That camera is right in her face, and she is not dude. She's not blinking. She's
like
all, right?
Like straight, like giving it the eyes.
Yeah, and it's totally uncomfortable, and it's really well done. And so let's talk about the in pieces, right? The acting is amazing, right? Who's your favorite actor or actress in this movie?
Well, I just watched Sicario, which the main dude is in. He was pretty good in that. He wasn't like a huge role in it. He was like the buddy cop of the one lady. Shit, who was my favorite? I know who you're gonna say, but it has to probably be like the best friend in the film.
Yeah.
The comic relief of the film.
Yeah, he's amazing. He was perfect. If he wasn't in this movie, it wouldn't be half as fun.
No, in the fucking film. Oh, go ahead. Tell them your favorite.
My favorite's the actress who plays the girlfriend.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with the dad. Wow, really threw me for a curveball there. Even Gat.
Even your cat is for sure. But go ahead.
No. Finish your thought about. Well, you can't. Well, we don't want to give.
Yeah, we
don't want to give a whole
no
lot
spoilers yet
about about family or characters or anything like that. No.
Yeah, there's a very specific reason why she's my favorite.
The one thing that we were talking about on the way back is, and I wanted to like every episode that we do, we mention that it's Tales from the Crypt. I mentioned Tales from the Crypt, but this story felt like, and this is why I loved so much. There's some stuff that's like, when you explain it to your friends, it'll sound completely far-fetched. But when you see it,
that just happened actually.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to explain it to Alex, and she was like, "What?
So, like, what are you talking about?
What we got there? What did Chris say there? I can't see the phone.
Yeah, I'll tell you in a second.
Oh, is that a cat emoji? Doesn't matter.
It is a cat emoji.
Yeah,
well done.
We'll bring Gad in here in a second. But the story felt like it just like poured off of an EC Comics.
Yep.
Like issue.
Totally.
Like that, because like
even the way it's shot,
like everything is just so good about it. And that's the thing, I don't want to overhype it. I don't want people to be disappointed.
They're not going to be disappointed. Honestly, here's the deal with this is this it's too fresh, it's too unique to not make waves. Like it's really a special thing, right? So like if people are going in, if you're going in expecting to be terrified and frightened, scariest movie you ever saw, then you can be disappointed from that element or that side of things, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going in with an open mind, you're like, I just want to, enjoy a good horror movie and see like it's gonna exceed expectations if you go in with that mindset, right?
Yeah.
If you're going in for something specific, like, man, I want to see like 14 chainsaw deaths.
Yeah, and
that's not gonna happen.
I feel like that's what happens to a lot of horror movies, though. People go in, like, that's why I don't want to overhype, because people say, like, it's one of the scariest films of 2017 or whatever the fuck year it is. And then it's not, and then people hate it for that.
Well, that's, that's dumb. So, but here's the thing, like, let's assess the scare factor of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
you assess the scare factor quick. I'm gonna let Gatsby out because he definitely wants to be on the
cat emoji
on the show. Make a quick cameo.
So in terms of being scary, like the audience was frightened in. I don't know. I want to say like I could tell they were frightened at least 5 different moments.
Cat under control.
Cat under control. TSA. TSA, consider the situation handled.
You'll get it.
You'll get it. So yeah, that's right, exactly. So that's the first thing is the jump scares work. There are scares. It worked on the audience. To me, the second thing is this is what took me by surprise. It's not exactly the scare element, but what took me by surprise is this movie does not pull punches. We're gonna get into it in the spoiler part of the review. But I was just telling Nick, I realized something after the movie ended, that the implication is that it might be the worst death in horror movie history. Like literally the worst way to go happens to one of these characters, right? Possibly, right? So like the movie does not pull punches. Like when there are parts where the plot has steered it towards it's going to be gory, it's up in your face gory, right?
Yeah.
And when the plot steers you to parts where you're following a character and the character's in a situation where something might go bad for them, you're invested in the character because the writing is good, and then bad things happen to them.
The writing was really good.
Totally.
And the main dude, like, and I think that's what we liked about it the most, was that like I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like
Victoria's with you.
what we got there. Looking for it. I haven't seen so much. Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't watch a whole bunch. I saw like the main trailer that they showed in theaters, and I didn't really read a whole lot about it online. And I said the same with Split, and I enjoyed both of them like immensely. And I wonder if Split and Get Out will be like this year's Babadook and It Follows, where people, because they're really close to each other.
Well, I hope more good stuff comes, but I think it's already happened. Those are two outstanding movies.
Yeah.
Right? And they're two outstanding movies that are original. They're not reboots, remakes.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
There's great acting in both of them.
Yeah.
And they're really, really well written. And the parts of the plot, okay.
And the editing, too. There's just everything is...
The editing is... Listen to me. So movies have trouble with payoff. Horror movies... most movies, they have trouble with payoff. They'll give you something in the plot, and then it vanishes, or it's handled badly, or it disappears, or the payoff is lame, right?
Yeah.
This movie is like the Olympic gymnast gold medal champion of payoff. Like
sticking the landing, yeah.
Like it literally, like there are like 15 little payoffs hidden underneath the big payoff, and they all make it.
Yeah.
And they're all done well, right? And like they're all done the way that the story... The writers didn't twist the story to make fun things happen. They created such a great story that fun things had to happen, which is the best feeling when you're watching a movie. Like they didn't have to warp it to be like, no, we're gonna make someone do something totally ridiculous so that like run upstairs when they're in trouble.
Yeah.
None of that in this movie.
Yeah, all the like cliche like shit that happens in horror films that like people talk about after seeing it, where they're like, "Oh, I would have done this, I would have done that." Like they kind of try, like in the film, like like attempts are made to like do the shit that like you and your like. I'm sitting there like trying to put myself in his shoes, and I'm like, I would have tried this, and then like that happens, and I'm like,
that's awesome.
Fuck,
like it didn't work. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that.
Well, so and that's the thing is the funny thing is that the movie called itself Get Out, right? Because the one thing that's pulling at you while you're watching it is, why is he not getting out?
Yeah.
Because things are escalating and they're obviously getting weirder. And this is what I was telling Nick. The movie did such a good job of setting up an emotional bond between two characters that was totally believable.
Yeah.
And that is why he's not getting out. And the movie knew, because of its name, that this was a hurdle that had to jump. So it did it literally like the best way possible, because I was thinking as things got weirder, man, just get out. And then they pulled a scene that explains why he's not, and I was like, yeah, I wouldn't either.
Yeah, you're just like
you're just right. You're just right with the plot. You're in sync with like it's
everything from they got you from the title.
they thought it through from the title, right? Yeah. I'm so excited to see what Jordan Peele does next in horror, if anything. Actually, in whatever, any kind of movie. But man, what a talent!
Yeah, it's been a good day. It's been a good day. We even saw Stephen Fry.
We did.
Just randomly. We made eye contact. It happened.
That was really.
And then we saw Get Out. You don't have much of a better day than that.
No. All right, let's end the live, right? And then we're moving to spoiler territory.
Yeah, we're gonna go into spoilers. We're gonna end the live, but we're gonna keep recording this episode of the podcast.
Yep.
So keep an eye out for that.
Go see this movie.
In the meantime, go check it out. I'm not gonna make that stupid pun about getting on seeing the film, but I guess I did. Too late.
All right, so big time warning.
I'm gonna move this here so you can.
Big time warning. We don't want to. This is spoiler territory, and you really should see this movie unspoiled, unless you're like spoiler proof, like you're one of those people who it doesn't matter.
The thing is you could. I mean, it's such a good story.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it 2 more times, and it's
It's probably gonna be better because, to be honest, we spoiled The Visit before we went to go see it, and it made the movie better because we knew what the kids didn't know.
Yep.
And I think there's something in screenwriting where the audience knows, but the main character doesn't know. I don't know what the fuck you call it.
Like some tension.
Yeah, it's whatever the fuck it is.
Yep.
So like we had that from the get that the other people didn't have, and I think that made the movie more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I wasn't that impressed with that twist because the twist is The twist is that you've in The Visit, you've only been introduced to basically 4 characters, right?
Yeah.
So you're living with 2 characters, and there's 2 other characters that are obviously going to be in jeopardy, and they never give you any other characters.
Yeah.
And you're watching a horror movie. So when the twist is like the 2 people you're living with are scary people, I'm like, they better be, because it's a horror movie. There's nobody else in it.
Yeah, you can't get much scarier than.
So I wasn't real impressed with that.
It was the neighbors. The neighbors were not who they say they were. You never met them. But there's your twist.
Right. They're coming right. Exactly.
But with
this twist, or several of them, oh my god,
it's more. I don't want. It's very grand.
Yes.
It's twist. But not only because of the twist. It's not even like an M. Night style twist. It's more of like a slow corkscrew going into your gut.
That's a good way to
that's
put
how
it.
That's how the twist feels in this movie, because it's slow. And the other thing is with, I don't know why I'm comparing it to The Visit. I mean, I guess it's because there's a twist. That's why. But like in The Visit, there's like a lot of weird shit happens, and then there's that moment of, here's the twist, boom. Mm-hmm. But with this, it's peppered more than in an M. Night film. And then when it happens, because like in The Visit, when the twist happens, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, there was some weird shit. But when in this film, when the twist happens and you figure out, well, now that we're in spoiler territory, the whole fucking family's in on it, you can immediately fucking connect everything they said fairly quickly. Because the twist comes, it's obviously
past halfway.
Yeah, it's not exactly like the start of the 3rd act.
Right.
It's almost like the end of the 2nd. You know what I mean? But like there's so much that was said throughout the film that you connect. And what I loved about how they did it was they didn't just say, here's the twist, and the audience went, ah. They said, here's the twist. Mm-hmm. The audience was like, oh, I think I get it. They gave you enough time to connect everything. Yep. Then they walked you through and showed everything that happened, just so you could confirm.
And it's genius, because one of the things that every horror fan complains about is info dumps, right? Yeah. And there's an info dump in this movie, and the info dump happens while a guy's tied to a chair, getting the info dump, right? So it's almost making fun of. It was the most like over the top info dump.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically a produced video that info dump on the TV screen that the character's watching, right?
Yeah.
So it was clearly like a conscious, fuck you, here comes the info dump situation. But it all made sense because the info dump is part of the process.
Yeah.
Right. So it wasn't aggravating, right?
No.
It was done the right way. I have a series of questions for you. You ready?
Shoot.
Okay. Call outs to other horror movies in this movie.
I know which one you're going for. I know which one you're going for off the rip.
Right,
the guy in the intro who said, I feel like when Hedge Maze
yes, yeah, totally.
was it called to The Shining?
Yes. What do you think this was like referencing?
A film directly?
Yeah, any film or genre, or what influenced this movie, do you think? Right? So like Stepford Wives is pretty obvious because people are taken out of their bodies and replaced, and they're robots.
Yeah.
But like Halloween, we said with the opening shot was like whatever the thing, right? But like to me, it was weird because what you were saying was totally right. There was some Twilight Zone-y elements. There was Tales from the Crypt. The brain swapping plot.
Yeah,
straight up Tales from the Crypt action, right? Like
that is like old school horror comic.
Yeah, totally.
Like we're gonna take your brain out and put you into this other.
Yeah, for sure. And then the info dump scene is basically the villain in a Bond movie explaining everything they're gonna do to you. Like full on. Like
yeah. It was very like Goldfinger, or whatever. He's like, I plan to kill you, Mr. Bond.
Totally. Right. Exactly. And then like the whole mad science element is just a callback to all those old great like. I mean, there's a fucking laboratory in this movie.
Yeah, like operating room, like gross shit,
right,
going on,
right. And fucking Bradley Whitford's amazing. He was so good. As a evil brain surgeon.
God, he made me uncomfortable from the fucking beginning. Like he was too friendly in the beginning. He was like, "Let me show you around, man." Like I was like, "Please stop."
Yes, exactly.
And the fucking daughter, I've never watched HBO's Girls, but I think she's in that.
I don't
show.
remember.
It looks like her. I could be wrong, but anyways, it looks like one of the women from that. But she was really fucking good at being like, was he being weird?
Yeah.
Was he being? I mean, they're not racist, but like they might be. But he might be like, he's just an awkward dad.
Right. Well, she's my vote for my favorite character, and it's because she's basically playing two characters. She's playing literally the spot on perfect woke girlfriend. Right.
Yeah. Like I'm so like progressive.
Yep.
She's like, I'm just I'm in the big city.
Yep.
Perfect.
I mean, everything, even where there were flaws, it was perfect. Those are flaws that your perfect girlfriend would have, because no one's perfect. But she's if she was totally perfect, it would be creepy. So she shades it a bit, right?
Just enough,
just to make it believable and like evil genius, right? So she's playing this one character, and then she's a completely cold, ruthless person, and she switches. God. You see it on screen like in seconds. I want to like stop frame it, right?
If you think,
because there's that moment on where
that's probably why I compared it to Split,
right? She's digging through her purse because her boyfriend's yelling at her, I need the keys. We got to get out. We got to get out. We're going to go to the car. I need the keys. And she's fumbling around in her purse. And she was so believable, even though something's wrong at this point, right?
Yeah.
But she's so believable when she says it exactly perfectly the way a girlfriend would be if her boyfriend was yelling at her, saying, I need the keys. She's like, I'm looking. And like her lips trembling, and she's like flustered. And then she pulls the keys out of the purse. Obviously, she's been looking at him the whole time, right? And she turns to him and goes, I can't give you these keys, right, babe?
Oh.
And it was the real her, the evil her. And she turned on a dime like so in a second.
Yeah.
Right?
My favorite part, though, was when... Because, like, the whole... Like, it's a lot... It's very much about race, especially when they have that big soiree and all those crusty old white people are there, like just being like, "Oh yeah, aren't your kind strong?" and like grabbing his muscles and shit. But the people were but it wasn't the fact that like them being racist is like creepy fucking instantly, but like the way they were acting, like you mentioned Stepford Wives, but like the way they were acting. Norman Bates could have walked up and talked to him for 5 minutes, and you'd be like, "Well, that's where he belongs."
Yeah,
that's where Norman Bates fucking belongs.
A great point. Actually, and it also reminds me of the way the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the way they act. That's like slightly artificial,
No, like there's not a lot, and
That's definitely an influence on this movie. I just realized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Because especially the main the one, what was the girlfriend's name when she was at the end. After she doesn't know her family's being killed. This is the spoiler part. But the way she's like sitting there with like, she eats like
Fruit Loops and her milk.
She ate one fucking Fruit Loop, chewed up. They grabbed her milk, and the way she was just like, she had like a black turtleneck on, her hair's like tightly slicked back.
Yeah, what an asshole.
Just the way she was fucking like, she looked like a fucking psychopath.
And she was shopping for victims online.
Yeah, she looked up
That's
like
what she was doing.
Yeah, she looked like NAACP
Top NCAA
prospects. And it's like, oh my god, no.
Yeah, and the casting call for this for the people at the soiree, I can't even imagine. Like, it must have been like, is your skin translucent? Come try out, because they're the whitest.
Do you have that turkey gobble neck?
Oh my god, these people,
you could come.
Such assholes. But so yeah, exactly. So, but I want to talk about how this movie doesn't pull any punches, and it goes where it needs to go and doesn't hold back. And we were talking about what might be the worst death in a horror movie that I can ever remember, right? So there's a scene where the creepy blind guy is getting surgery done to have his brain transplanted into the main character's body, or however that's going to work. And they put him out. He's on a gurney. They cut off the top of his head, open it up so you can see his brain, right? And then the main character goes around and kills everybody in the house, knocks over a candle stand, and the candle sets a curtain on fire. So now the house is burning down.
Yep.
So now you got a guy who's who's unconscious with his head off in a burning house, right? And they don't show how this guy goes. But holy crap, if he goes the way I think that he goes, that is
At some point,
unnerving.
he woke up with his
right. At some point, he woke
his
up
cranium
on
missing.
fire with his head off. Right, like holy shit. So the movie is it is really really bleak at parts, right? And it's really hilarious at others.
That's what I wanted to go next, was like the comedy in the film. And I think, honestly, I think some of the best horror films have to have some sort of lighter fucking moments in it. For me, I mean, not for everyone, but
Sure.
for me at least, there has to be a few parts where like you can fucking breathe,
Right.
and like enjoy the movie. And this movie was just chock full. It's exactly why, like, I think Ash vs. Evil Dead's like a great fucking TV show. There's enough moments in there for me to forget, oh yeah, this is horrible.
Yep.
And I can just like have a good laugh and then get the shit scared out of me again.
Yep.
The moments in the film that were funny, like it wasn't just like a quick slapstick joke. Like
No, they're
the comedy came from like a friend's frustration.
Yep.
But it felt so real.
Yeah. The
like,
TSA
because
guy is one of the funniest characters.
because you agree with him, everything he said. Like there's the big scene where he talks to her and
Where he's talking to the girlfriend.
he's talking to the girlfriend because he knows she's going to say some shit. And she knows that he's going to try to get her to say some shit. And so she doesn't
and he's
give it-
recording her. He
Yeah, he's
like
recording
halfway
her.
through he decides I'm gonna record this bitch because
Yeah, he's like, she's gonna say some shit. I'm gonna catch this. I'm gonna catch this bitch.
Yep.
And then she like talks about how like, oh yeah, like you wanted to fuck me and all that stuff. He goes, no, I didn't. And then he gets mad. And then at the end he goes, oh god, she's a genius.
Totally. You got to appreciate like that character
That
was-
happens after like, you know, his best friend
right.
is tied up in all this other shit. So like,
Totally.
it's the worst
now,
part for
now
the character.
think about this though. Okay, so this is what is blowing my mind. The plot of his friend who's watching his dog while the main character is in crazy White Town. His friend is basically the caretaker character from The Shining. You know how it takes him the entire movie to get to the hotel,
Yeah.
right? And realize bad things are happening, and he's calling people. I mean, this is exactly the plot arc is exactly the same, right? He's starting to realize things are wrong. He's starting to call people. He's reaching out to authorities, and then he finally decides he's going to go there himself and like whatever. And what happens to that guy is he just gets Scatman Crothers gets axed like as soon as he arrives, right? And this guy comes and saves the day, right? So it flipped it right at the end.
But the way it flipped it at the end.
Right. Oh my god, that's
The best part. So spoiler, you know, this is, I have to keep mentioning it as a spoiler. But at the end, it's the main character on top of the woman choking her. So it's a black dude choking this white woman, and then a cop car pulls up in the fucking theater.
You just see
There's only
sirens,
probably like
right.
10 other people in the theater.
Yep.
And you hear like the whoop whoop. Everyone in the theater like just had like it was like a collective like oh shit sigh. We're like, oh no. He's gonna
And he stands up and he puts his hands up and he's framed in the lights, and you know obviously the race elements are just raging, right? Like everyone knows how bad this is gonna go.
Yeah. And then the door opens and it says airport security. We're like, everyone, the fucking theater clapped. It was 10 people in this theater.
They erupted in
everyone,
applause.
everyone like applauded, and I was like, oh,
Yep.
the theater like helped make that fucking movie like.
And that's what I'm talking about, payoff. Like that's right.
Yeah, the payoff in this movie is fucking perfect. Because that's the other thing. I noticed when we were watching, I was like, I really hope two things. I hope they tell you who the guy in the beginning is, because they never really clarified it. Like you kind of can guess it's the brother, and but you still don't know because there's. I thought it was any one of the white people,
Right.
but they paid off that at the end because he gets in the car. But then the best friend, I was hoping like in the film, I was like, I really hope the best friend, because most of the time those people, they never have any payoff.
Right.
They never do anything well. Like they
Right.
might call the cops and then some,
Right.
random cop A goes to
Right.
That guy had great fucking payoff.
Yep.
And he was hilarious throughout the whole fucking film. He
Yep.
was like the glue that just like kept
Yep.
like everything fucking light.
But you know, so what was really cool to me is I like when horror films dig a little bit deeper, right? So think about like this film. It made me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like through the entire time. Like the race elements are intentionally, uncomfortable, which is how it should be. But what happens is, every time a character thinks that someone has their back, they're wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? So in the beginning, the girlfriend stands up for her boyfriend to a cop, and they get in the car, and she says, "I'm not going to let anyone mess with my man. I'm always gonna protect my man." Right? And she's basically his assassin.
Yeah.
Right? She's leading him to his demise. But so he thinks someone has his back, but they don't, right? The hilarious TSA guy goes to the police, tells his theory of what's happening to his friend to a police detective who calls in other police detectives. So now you got 3 police detectives, and she says, "Tell the story again," right? And he thinks, "You brought in a team. We got a team. We're going out guerrilla style." Like,
He also mentions, "I work for the TSA. We probably know more than you sometimes, but it's not about that."
It's not about that, right? So he tells the story again, and he's encouraged because they brought in the team. Like, they're taking this seriously. Like, we need numbers to go up against these people. And then when he's done telling his story, they all bust up laughing. And then the original detective turns to the other one and goes, "That's why I called you in here. Don't say I never do anything for you. Did you hear this ridiculous shit? That makes your day," right? So like he thinks someone has his back and they don't have his back, right?
Yeah.
And then the mother wife character, amazing actress, Catherine Keener, I think her name is. She's like, "Oh my God, you're having trouble smoking," to the main character. "I can help you. I can cure that for you. I can do hypnosis and it'll cure it," right? And so she hypnotizes him. He doesn't remember almost anything about the hypnosis except for she cured him of smoking.
Yeah.
So the family's looking out for him. They got his back. Like everyone is pretending to have each other's back, and nobody does. Right? This guy is basically alone except for his friend at the end, which is why that payoff is such a great feeling, because the movie has secretly been telling you no one's got your back for 2 hours. Right?
Yeah.
And when the friend shows up and actually has his back, you're like, "Bro,
Finally.
right, awesome."
Finally.
Which is just such an amazing construction of how they execute it. Like, I can't even, like, whatever.
Even the payoff, like, we keep saying, like, payoff, because it fucking had it.
Yep.
But even, like, with the interaction with the groundskeeper / grandpa at the end, in the beginning when he was like, "She's got really pretty eyes, doesn't she?" And you're like, "That's kind of weird. You might have a crush." But then at the end, when you realize that's her fucking grandpa's brain in that dude,
Right.
everything makes sense.
That's family pride.
Yeah,
she's got pretty eyes. She's one of a kind. Like,
yeah, she's one of us. She's good looking.
And he took it as this creepy old guy is hitting on my girlfriend, right? But it was just family pride.
And it all fucking made. And I would say, like, the part where they reveal the stitches or the scars from where they did the brain transplants, that was the Twilight Zone-y feel.
Yep.
That was the reveal of, like, this shit is not normal.
Yep, totally. And then the "I told you so" payoff, right?
Yeah.
Which is great because in the beginning of the movie, that the uncomfortable question that shouldn't be asked, right, but has to be asked, the main character turns to his girlfriend. They're going to visit the parents' house, and they're packed. They're about to leave, and he's like, "Do your parents know I'm black?" And she's like, "No, I didn't tell them. Like, why would I? Don't need to tell them what you." And then they get to the house, and the whole first day goes terrible.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone does creepy, awkward shit, right?
Yeah.
And then they go to bed, and they're in the bedroom, and he looks at her, and she's like, "What?" And he's just looking at her, and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "I told you should have told him." Like, "I told you so." So you got this "I told you so" moment, right? And then at the end of the movie, like, it was so comic perfect, which is why people who are outside horror, when they come in horror and do a good job, like, it's just such a great thing for the field, right? Like, because at the end, the TSA guy shows up, and he's been telling his friend the entire movie, every time his friend calls him, get out of the house, get out of the house. And then he gets there, there's bodies everywhere, there's blood everywhere. His friend gets in the car, he's bleeding, he's damaged, like, he's just sitting in the passenger seat. And I swear to God, the pause felt like it was 20 seconds long. They're just looking at each other. They're not saying anything. And then his friend's like, it was long.
It
right?
lingered for a while, yeah.
And then his friend's like, "I told you not to go in the house." Right, like,
and then they just pull off and
it was like
credits roll.
The best I told you so's. Like, right.
Like, the comedic timing, and that's the other thing is like now that like, and I'm weirdly tying this into watching the Nice Guys with with Shane Black because he does a lot of comedy and with like really gruesome stuff. This made me kind of excited for The Predator as well because I'm hoping with Shane Black it's gonna be sounding weird, but I hope The Predator has some moments almost sort of like the way that this film had comic relief because it made it such a better movie just to give you those breaks.
Yep.
I even think Alex even talks about the Joss Whedon. He had a quote. It wasn't about horror; it was just about screenwriting. Like you can do all this shit, make me cry, but like make me laugh or something like that.
Yep.
And the film like did that.
Yeah, and the audience responded to it. They were equally scared. The audience we saw it with, they were equally scared and laughing, but the laughs were the good kind of laughs. They were the
when
oh my
they did
god
the TSA laugh. That
right?
dude fucking lost his shit, and that made me lose my shit. It was a really contagious fucking like laugh that happened.
Right, exactly. But even like the moments where, again, sorry, not to be repetitive, but even the mini payoff, like the girlfriend, they're driving to the house and she's like, my father's going to tell you he would have voted for Obama for a third term. And you know it's coming. You know he's going to say it. But they just put him in the middle of the screen, in the middle of nowhere, in a gazebo in the backyard of this house. And there's just that comic pause because Peele knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then Bradley Whitford's like, I would have voted for Obama. And it's hilarious. It's just perfect. The way they're executing it's perfect. But it's also genuinely scary. I was when you think about what's actually happening to the implications of what's actually happening to the people that they're putting in the sunken place, right? And the ending we think about it, like think about how, you know, in horror movies, one of the big paradigms is, as a viewer, you watch it and you think to yourself, maybe you should just kill yourself. Like, just end the suffering, or like, right, you're not gonna, you're doomed. You're not gonna make it, like whatever. And you know the characters fight for 2 hours and then it's pointless, right? Like, but the character at the end who is the grandfather but also is someone else, he shoots the girlfriend and then shoots himself.
Yeah.
Right? Because he doesn't want to continue life this way. That means that's how bad it is, right? For his existence is that bad, right? And then you meet tons of characters in this movie who are like that, right? And their lives have all been fucking horrible. So that's what I mean is this movie is not fucking around. It's funny, right? But it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's good.
It's not the goriest movie ever by any stretch of the imagination, but when you think through the implications of what people are going through, what they're up against, how bad it could have gone, except for a couple like really tricky moves, like the stuffing an ear move is genius.
Yeah,
right?
it was good.
I mean, it's a horror movie. It's disturbing. It's unnerving, right? So and he knows how to get the camera really up close in people's faces and make the scene uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like
he can make you uncomfortable visually, but then also just balance that out with the comedic shit. It was just
Yep.
It's just one of those like just fucking like even if you're like you're on the fence of watching, just go see it. Just make your feet move to the theater.
Make your feet move. Yep.
And then just see it and fucking love it.
Yep.
I just
yeah, for sure. I like I said, Rotten Tomatoes 110%.
110% make it happen.
There are. I'm being a little facetious. There are a couple things that bother me. The one thing that we were talking about was I don't like at the end that the girlfriend, who is really fucking smart character, that the clearly the main character flashes affect the whatever they are, right?
Yeah.
These people. It turns them off for a second. So the original. Did you
almost get like a white zombie, like the
old
school
totally.
like zombie film?
Totally, yeah. I was gonna say zombies. Funny you said that. I was gonna say these zombies, but like he flashes. The guy is clearly he was heading straight towards the guy to strangle him. He stops. He freezes in his tracks. Something's clearly wrong, right? But he turns around to the girlfriend and says, "Give me the gun. I want to be the one who shoots him." There's no way she falls for that, right? So I don't think that it's not perfect. Like there are a couple things that they're like flaws or whatever, but they're so small compared to how special this movie is. Like it's hard for me to imagine seeing something I enjoy more than this in horror. The first half of this year, like that's a challenge to you, horror field, but
I know. I'm
hard to
hoping.
imagine.
I'm hoping we can just keep going through the rest of the year with these quality of movies. So now I'm like really. I'm hoping like It comes out to be that great, and I hope Belko Experiment comes out to be
that looked good.
Come out to be
Actually,
good.
that Life trailer looked pretty good. The Jake
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal one. I didn't even know that existed.
The weird Martian alien film, which sounds pretty dope.
Yep.
Is there anything else you wanted to add to the?
No, that's it. I mean, it's a great movie. We're lucky.
Big moments.
We were skeptical heading into 2017 that it was going to hold up to the standard of 2016.
That's how we ended last year.
It's a good era to be a horror fan.
Yeah. So let's see what happens.
But we would love to know what you guys think. Who's seen it? Hit us up on the Facebook page.
No fucking way. I stopped scrolling through my Facebook, and look what it ended on.
Oh, weird.
The fucking intro to Tales from the Crypt. Someone who posted that. Famous Monsters of Filmland posted it.
That is really weird.
Tales from the Crypt
I wish
intro.
we were
There
still
he is.
Facebook Live. I would be showing it to them. That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy because we compared it to fucking
Jordan Peele. Get out of our heads.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. So until next time,
Yep.
go see the film
Enjoy.
and let us know what you thought. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.